Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's MTPredictor video, I'd like to take a look at the USE minis and how they unfolded yesterday, which was the 19th of July. I'd also like to have a look at our new NinjaTrader 8 add-ons, and in particular how the setups we have there and our new trend indicator in the NinjaTrader 8 add-ons would have helped your trading yesterday. So let's start off by looking at our MTPredictor add-ons. If you remember, we used to have a color-coded indicator called the STF. Now this we used to use for our trends, but like most indicators it was lagging. And as you can see here, there was a lovely DP buy setup yesterday at about 1:30 New York time that would have caught the very low of the day. But of course this was against what would have otherwise been a red STF, so you would have avoided that. More experienced traders would have had to go to the 15-minute chart, and they would have then gone back to the prior pivot low, which was there, right mouse click, place that DP on. That would have then given you your support zone to then come back to the 3-minute chart and see where the 15-minute or higher time frame support would have come in. And as you can see, that would have actually caught the very low of the day for you. Very nice indeed. Remember, these DP zones are on the chart in advance. They're there as leading indicators. They're there before the market even gets there. So before the market even gets down to this low, you knew that it was an area of where there was higher time frame support. As such, you then want to take this trade because you knew it was coming in at higher time frame support, and the result was a nice 2.2R profit. But that did involve a little bit of swapping time frames and a bit of more experienced analysis. With our new NinjaTrader 8 add-ons, what we have is we basically have a new color-coded trend indicator which we called MTPtrend. This is based off the DPs off the major swings on the current chart. So you can see here we have the major swings I've got loaded in black. So for these, again, we work in the same way. There's a major pivot low here. So you place the DP on there. Again, that low would have been, or that DP would have been on the chart in advance. Can you see how it actually said it was a major support zone? There's also another one back here from this pivot low here. That was actually slightly larger and encompassed the other one, so I'll take that one off to keep things simple. And that would have then been on the chart in advance. And can you see how it showed you that it was major support? But the good thing about this new trend indicator is as the market came down into this support zone, it went from red to black. Now, do you remember on our old STF, this was red all the way through here, whereas the new DP trend indicator went from black. In other words, it told you that the trend was flat or neutral and therefore allowed you to take the buy setups. It then went blue very quickly, telling you the large trend was up. As such, it would be a lot easier for you guys to see this trend indicator, know you're at major support here off this last major DP, and as such be able to take this trade. The result was the same, it was just a little bit easier. There was a Holy Grail sell setup here a bit later, a bit earlier in the day, but you wouldn't have probably taken that all the way down to its Holy Grail target because that was a long way down. It was right the way down here, and that was way past our major support zone. So let's have a look at some of the other markets as well and see how they would have fared on that. So the point I'm making here is this would have allowed you to take a buy setup off the very bar of the low of the day on the ES. Let's have a look at the NQ. The NQ, there were some other trade setups. There were some short sells here and some trades a bit later in the day. You can see I have the major support zone on that level there, which it didn't quite reach. So let's see how this would have looked when we look at the NQ on our NinjaTrader 8 add-ons. Here we have our major connected pivots. These were slightly different to the support zones we saw on the the MTPredictor 7.5. Two sell setups earlier in the day. This major one here was a TS3 sell. The market was very close to that target there. It was a few ticks away. Another TS3 sell here. We placed the analysis on this. This got to its first target very nicely for a 4.8R profit. But the two I really want to look at are the two that were when the indicator went from red, indicating a downtrend, to black, to indicating where it was flat. Again, we placed the DP on from the major pivot. You can see this was actually major support here. we had then a VS or a volume spike, high volume spike coming in here. This first one would have been a losing trade. I deliberately chosen this because I think it's important that people who show trades in software show losing trades as winning as well as winning trades, because it's important to understand that losses can, will, and do happen. This is where we use correct position sizing. So use position sizing. I'll just put that back on again to make sure it's correct. I accidentally dragged that a bit. Use position sizing to vary the number of lots, contracts, or shares to keep your initial risk same. In this case, less than 2% on a sample $20,000 account. So that one would have been a minus 1R loss, or a 1R loss. This next one would have come in again on a black DP trend, so you would have been able to take this one. This would have gone up to the first target here, where the profit was 2.1R. 2.1R means you would have made twice the initial risk, so the minus 1R earlier would have been more than made up for by this 2.1R profit. There would have been a stop and reverse because the trend was still black there. You'd have been taken in short and just taken out to the tick on that TS4 sell. Again, losing trades can and will happen, but here you'd have had two losing trades, minus 1, i.e. minus 2R, but remember we made plus 2R on that VS setup, and that's ignoring the plus 4.8 we made on that one there. This was a blue trend, so you'd have been avoiding that TS4 sell, but then we had a TS4 HG. Now this is a holy grail trade setup. This is one of our new trade setups in our MTPredictor add-ons for NinjaTrader 8, and this is a particularly good trade setup. It's because it comes in as a wave 2. In other words, we're looking for the initial rally off an important low. That's a wave 1. We're then looking for the initial correction to unfold, which is a wave 2. That should subdivide into an ABC. But then the target is the typical wave 3 WPT. This is good because the typical wave, or the wave 3, is normally the longest and strongest in a completed 5-wave sequence, therefore has the largest profit potential in relation to the smallest initial risk. So here the profit would have been approximately 4.9, or can I call that 5 to make it easier for myself? Almost 5R, and again almost 5 times greater than the initial risk. As the market shot through this so quickly, you might have got some positive slippage as well. But let's take the worst case scenario of a nice 5R profit. But can you see how this holy grail buy setup here was in the direction of the blue MTP trend, and therefore would be one you'd want to take. So on the NQ, it was a very good day yesterday where we had some good sell setups as the market came down with the red trend. We then had some buy setups, some of which worked, some of which didn't, as the trend turned to neutral or flat, and then as it went blue again, we then got a buy setup that had a very nice trade later in the day. So a very good day on the NQ yesterday. Have a quick look at the YM. YM was really quiet. The MTP trend indicator was blue pretty much all of the day, therefore you'd have been avoiding these sell setups, so not very much at all on the YM. So let's just recap. That means that we had a brilliant trade on the ES, where we would have actually had a long trade on the very bar of the low of the day, that DP buy setup. That would have been there at major DP support, as our trend indicator went from red to black, up to the first target where you'd had a nice 2.2R profit. That sell setup, so close to the end of the day you probably wouldn't want to be taking it anyway. But the star of the show was the NQ, where we had some nice sell setups on the way down, catching the lows of the day here, including a VS buy setup here, again on the very bar of the low of the day at about 1400 or 2 o'clock, that had a nice small profit. And then the star of the show was that TS4 holy grail buy setup on a blue MTP trend a bit later in the day. So hopefully this has been a good look at how MTPredictor did yesterday, in particular with our new MTP add-ons for NinjaTrader 8, looking at our new trade setups, including our holy grail and our VS, which is our volume spike trade setups, and our new MTP trend indicator there. So it did very well for us, particularly on the NQ yesterday.